Okay, so we're going to use a what, why, how framework to define a few different behavior skills in this series. The first one we're going to do is high agency. I'm going to link an article in the description to this what, why, how framework where I first learned it, but it's connecting an idea that I already was kind of using, that Brian Kite uses, the what being intention, the why being purpose, and the how being the execution of skill to the highest level or standard. So we'll get started. Today's going to be on high agency. So what is high agency? The first thing that I like to do in the what part is define it. Then we soundbite it so it's easier for guys to remember. And then I like to throw up a visual. That's something new that I've been tinkering with. So definition of high agency for us is finding a way to get what you want without waiting for conditions to be perfect or blaming circumstances. High agency people push through in the face of adverse conditions, or they reverse the adverse conditions to achieve outcomes. They either find a way or make a way. So our soundbite, find a way or make a way, not an excuse. Just a simpler summary of that. They have both for them to kind of understand it and conceptualize it in words. And then I like to try and find a visual or make a visual of what this might look like so they can start to understand it that way if they learn through kind of their visual learning style better. So this, I took this from a tweet from George McGill. He was the one that kind of introduced me to this idea of high agency. Listened to it on a podcast that he was on. I think it was a Modern Wisdom podcast. Highly recommend those. But here you can see we have person A who's low agency, person B is high agency. So the A person has made a help sign on the island where he's currently stranded, and he's just kind of passively waiting for his circumstances to change based on other people finding him. Whereas person B initially maybe decided to put a help sign up, and then he was like, wait, I believe in high agency. Let me find a way or make a way off this island. So, what resources do I have? What can I do to change my outcome by my own effort? So, person B displays high agency, builds a little raft for himself, and he's going to try and find a way or make a way. So, then we move on to the why. Why is this important? Ultimately, I think this is an advantage in the 21st century, being of high agency. Everywhere you look, people you talk to, maybe even some of your friends, it's becoming more and more common to just play the victim, to blame your circumstances. And it creates, when we talk about anti fragile versus fragile, it creates a more fragile person. Whereas high agency, people that display that are taking personal responsibility, which is extremely lacking in, I mean, forget about the youth, forget about Gen Z. It's lacking generationally right now. High agency people going along with the personal responsibility, there's undercurrents of extreme ownership in the definition. And then we talk about being anti fragile and how to create a more anti fragile person. High agency encompasses kind of being like fire we talk about when we talk about anti-fragility. So a fire feeds on obstacles. It doesn't look at them and blame the tree for being in the way, it engulfs the tree, and the fire actually gets stronger because it engulfs the obstacle. And then we look, lastly, in our framework, how can we apply it? How can we do it? So, how can we display more high agency? First thing you can do immediately is eliminate blaming, complaining, and defensiveness from your life, starting today. So, become aware of when you're doing it, why you're doing it. Ask yourself some tough questions on why you feel the need to be doing it. What purpose does it serve in your life? Does it even help? And shortly you'll realize that it doesn't. And then other questions that you can ask in terms of not necessarily eliminating something, but how can I impose my will here? How can I find a way, not an excuse, in this situation that I've encountered? How can I find a way, not an excuse, given this circumstance? So that was the what, why, and how of high agency, and we'll be doing others in the future. Again, that article is going to be linked in the description. Thank you.